Bridgewell Real Estate Group. And in today's YouTube video, I'm going to be doing a short little recap on what is going on in the real estate industry with regards to these new proposed changes to the Strata Property Act, effectively eliminating rental and age restrictions with some exceptions. So this is a big one. This is a hot topic within the real estate industry right now. I'm gonna, just make it palatable and easy for you guys to understand. I'll go through what the current state of stratas being able to impose restrictions on strata owners are, what the changes are going to be, and what that's going to look like for the average owner moving forward. I'm going to go through the obvious pros of this, but some maybe less obvious cons, and what the ramifications of this could be long-term as well. So before I get into that, I do just want to plug the Bridgewell Group channels, specifically with regards to our Instagram page. If you guys have not checked it out already and you are already subscribed to the YouTube channel, you might want to check out our Instagram. It's at Bridgewell Group. We have a lot of different content on there. This is obviously a long form type of content platform, but Instagram is a lot more short form. So you're going to see a lot of educational reels and informational videos on there from us. Also new listings to check out, solds, property tours. So definitely check out our Instagram if you haven't already. It's at Bridgewell Group. And for those of you that are new to the YouTube channel, I invite you to subscribe. I have a lot of information on here, like the news updates I'm going to be providing with you today, or for you today. Also informational videos, educational content, neighborhood guide videos. So definitely make sure to subscribe. The hot real estate news. On Monday, November 21st, 2022, so just this past Monday, the new British Columbia Premier announced that he was proposing to amend the Strata Property Act. And so this will effectively eliminate rental restrictions and age restrictions that a strata can impose on a particular set of strata owners, like buildings or complexes, condos and townhouses. So what does this actually mean? First of all, this is only going to apply to people within British Columbia that are strata owners. So as I said, condos and townhouses, things like that. And this can essentially be broken down into two parts. So I'm going to go through rentals first, and then I'm going to go through age restrictions. So starting off with rentals, I think it's important to know what the current restrictions are that can be imposed. And so typically the three ways that you're going to see rentals be set up are rentals allowed. So 100% of the units can be allowed to be rented. The second being rentals allowed with restrictions. So often a number or percentage allowed to be rented. So for example, 10 units out of the 100 unit building can be rented, or 10% of units can be rented. Once you've hit that amount that is rented, then any owners that want to rent their homes will have to be placed on a wait list, or may even be forced to sell their units because they are in an emergency, they need to move, but they can't rent out their unit because it's already at max capacity. And then the third option that stratas have is just rentals not allowed. Absolutely zero, no rentals. So this change will essentially eliminate these rental restrictions. 100% of the units and all units of any building, any complex will be allowed to be rented at any particular point in time. I do think it is important to note that there is an exception to this. Airbnbs Airbnb restrictions will still apply. So stratas can still impose restrictions on the amount of time that a rental period has to be, or minimum amount of time that a rental period has to be. So very commonly right now, that's minimum 30 days rental period, or sometimes 6 months rental period. It just depends on the strata. So definitely keep that in mind. I think that, this is very interesting. We are going to have an increase of housing supply, that's for sure. The intention behind this was to create more housing supply for renters specifically, just because the demand is so high, the supply is so low, and as a result of that, rental prices are absolutely through the roof, which I know a lot of people are struggling with right now. The government actually was looking at the speculation and vacancy tax exemption requests coming from rentals not being allowed in their building, and that being the reason why their unit's vacant. And there are a total of 2,900 units that fall under that category. So by eliminating these rental restrictions, you would think that those 2,900 units would hopefully come to market and just, provide a little bit more supply in the rental market. But this is also going to affect people moving forward as well, right? You may have a life change, like maybe you need to move for work and you don't want to sell your unit, but you couldn't rent it out previously. Well, now you'll be able to do that. So it provides a little bit more flexibility for people to be able to rent their units out without having those restrictions. And as I mentioned before, hopefully provide a little bit more housing supply with regards to the rental market. Now, I think that there are potential, negative impacts to the real estate market with regards to this change. Allowing rentals entirely is going to open up more opportunities for investors to be able to purchase real estate. Before they, were pretty much targeting rentals allowed buildings. Now every building is going to be rentals allowed. They're going to be able to purchase in whatever building or complex they want to and be able to rent it. A lot of people are worried about this because, a lot of the times if you're a single person, a couple, a family, you might not have as much money in your pocket as an investor. And if you're in a situation where you're, in a bidding war, there is more opportunity in most cases for an investor to be able to outbid just the average person looking to get into the real estate market. So there are some people that feel like this could actually hurt the people that they're trying to help with regards to buying real estate, but it will overall be beneficial for the people that are looking to rent. So definitely an interesting topic, controversial in some sense. I'd like to get your input, so definitely leave a comment down below if you have personal thoughts on whether you think that this rental restriction change is a good thing or a bad thing or a mix of both. So definitely leave a comment down below. Now, moving on to number 2, which is age-restricted buildings. So what you would commonly see right now is, 19 plus age restrictions, 45 plus age restrictions, 55 plus age restrictions. And what this basically means is that no one under that age restriction can live within the strata unit. And so there are some exceptions to this, which might show up in the bylaws. Sometimes it's like only one person has to be above 55 or something like that. But very generally, it is restricting, right? First of all, there are people that say are families already that cannot buy into those complexes because of these age restrictions. But also there are people that maybe didn't think that they were going to have a family and then decide to have a family later on in life and change their mind and now have to sell their homes because they live in an age-restricted building or complex. So this is going to effectively remove age restrictions, but there will be an exception. There are still going to be allowances for buildings that were already restricted as 55 plus, but anything that was less than 55 is essentially not going to be age restricted anymore. And so I think that the reasoning behind this is just because a lot of those 55 plus communities were intended for seniors. They want to keep that moving forward, and I personally think that that's fair. So as I said, lots of changes coming from just this one proposed amendment to change the Strata Property Act. I think that overall these, elimination of rental and age restrictions at the end of the day is going to be a win for renters. It's going to create more housing supply, and I mean strictly based on, the stat of there being 2,900 units that have applied for this spec and vacancy tax exemption just because of the rental restrictions. Hopefully we see those units come to market. And how much supply it brings overall is going to be a very interesting stat long term. So I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on that. I think that the elimination of rental and age restrictions for the most part is going to allow a lot more flexibility for strata owners, whether that be starting a family, expanding your family, or you have a career change that forces you to move. These restrictions, an elimination of the restrictions, to be quite clear, should be a good thing in providing flexibility. Long term, it will definitely be interesting to see if there is actually an impact on prices and that there is an upward trend, specifically because investors are allowed to purchase any building or any complex they want now, with it being 100% rentals allowed. That is definitely going to be an interesting one moving forward. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. As I said before, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I'm going to be doing other videos on a lot of the other changes, and there's certainly a ton going on in the market right now. There's the new irrevocable direction regarding presentation of offers. There's the home buyer rescission period coming up in 2023. There's the foreign buyer ban coming up in 2023. There's this amendment for the rental restrictions and age restrictions, and there's just so much more, home flipping, all of this stuff. So definitely make sure to subscribe for updates. And as I said before, we provide a lot of different content on our Instagram page, so check that out at Bridgewell Group. And in the meantime, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that it was helpful for you and just gives you a little bit better understanding of what these changes are, how it could impact you, and how it can impact the market moving forward. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and have a great day.